Let us discuss about the first generation fluoroquinolones, ciprofloxacin, ufloxacin. So the first generation fluoroquinolones, uh, norfloxacin, ciprofloxacin, ufloxacin, and pfloxacin. So we are going to discuss today the first generation fluoroquinolones. The distinctive antimicrobial features of the fluoroquinolones is they have a bactericidal activity and high potency. They also have a long post-antibiotic effect. We know the post-antibiotic effect. This is the residual bactericidal activity, which is persisting even after the serum concentration has fallen below the MIC levels, that is the minimum inhibitory concentration levels. So post-antibiotic effect is also seen with other drugs like aminoglycosides, carbapenems. So it is also seen with the fluoroquinolones. The fluoroquinolones, they also have a low frequency of the mutational resistance, and there is also a low propensity to select the plasmid type of the resistant mutants. So the resistance is slow to develop to the fluoroquinolones. Then they also have a protective intestinal streptococci and the anaerobes, which are SPAD. So the first generation fluoroquinolones, they have increased activity against the gram-negative organisms. So gram-positive organisms like streptococci and anaerobes, which are there, they are SPAD. So they have a less activity. They are less active in the acidic pH. Now coming to the drug ciprofloxacin, we know that the first generation fluoroquinolones, they were introduced around 1980s, and ciprofloxacin, this is one of the most potent fluoroquinolone. It has a bactericidal activity, and it is active against a broad range of the bacteria. Many gram-negative organisms are uh, taken care of. There's very good activity against the Enterobacteriaceae, Neisseria. It also has a very good activity against the Pseudomonas. And regarding the pharmacokinetics, it is rapidly absorbed orally and food delays its absorption. And also it has some amount of the first pass metabolism. It has a good safety record and it has mild side effects. But there are instances of drug interaction because of its enzyme inhibition property. Ciprofloxacin inhibits the metabolism of drugs like theophylline, warfarin, and it can increase their concentration because of enzyme inhibition, and this increased serum concentration can lead to toxicity. The uses of ciprofloxacin, it's used in urinary tract infections, in gastroenteritis, osteomyelitis, and anthrax. Then coming to norfloxacin, this was introduced and earlier than ciprofloxacin, somewhere around 1978, but it was found to be a least potent fluoroquinolone, and it attains a lower concentration in the tissues. So norfloxacin, it has a low subtherapeutic systemic concentration, and it also has a poor tissue penetration. Therefore, norfloxacin not useful for treatment of systemic infections. And also, if you see the Pseudomonas and gram-positive organisms, they are not inhibited. So it only has activity against gram-negative organisms, and that like E. coli, Proteus, Shigella, and it has no activity against the Pseudomonas. Then the uses of norfloxacin, it is used in urinary tract infection and bacterial diarrheas. Bacterial diarrheas because high concentration of the norfloxacin is achieved in the gut, and also the anaerobic flora of the gut is not disturbed. So it is useful in the bacterial diarrheas. And as far as adverse effects are concerned, reports of certain CNS side effects is with norfloxacin have been reported frequently. Then coming to pfloxacin. Pfloxacin is a methyl derivative of norfloxacin, and it is more lipid soluble and it is completely absorbed orally, and it also has a good penetration in the tissues. It penetrates the tissues better, and it has it also achieves a higher plasma concentration. The passage into the CSF, it is greater than other fluoroquinolones, because other fluoroquinolones, they do not have passage into the CSF, but it's only p-fluoxetine, first generation fluoroquinolone. This is the only one which is having a passage into the CSF greater than the other fluoroquinolones, and therefore it can be used for the meningeal infections. It is highly metabolized, sometimes partly to the norfloxacin, because it is a methyl derivative of norfloxacin, so it is highly metabolized partly to the norfloxacin, and this norfloxacin also contributes to its activity. It has a longer T-half, and it also has a property of accumulation, that it accumulates on repeated dosing. And the dose of the p-fluoxetine needs to be reduced in the liver disease, because it is highly metabolized in the liver. So the dose needs to be reduced in the liver disease, but not in the renal insufficiency. And the drug, orally it is given in the tablets. It is to be taken with the meals. So, and as far as the injection are concerned, the drug, for if it is injected, it should be diluted in 100 to 250 ml of the glucose solution. So it should not be diluted in the saline, because it will precipitate in presence of the chloride ions. The important use of the p-fluoxetine is very, very useful in the resistant cases of the leprosy, because it is very highly effective against the Mycobacterium leprae. Then coming to ufloxacin, fluoroquinolone. This fluoroquinolone is also having, it is a little less active than the ciprofloxacin against the gram-negative organism. So against gram-negative organism, ciprofloxacin is highly effective. Ufloxacin is a little less active than ciprofloxacin against the gram-negative organism. It is equal, or it is more potent against the Streptococcus pyogenes, certain gram-positive cocci, and anaerobes. Ufloxacin also has a good activity against the chlamydia and mycoplasma. It also inhibits the Mycobacterium tuberculosis and Mycobacterium leprae. And in tuberculosis, it can be used in the resistant cases of the tuberculosis. And as well as as it is effective against Mycobacterium leprae, it is also used in the multi-drug regimes in cases of the resistant cases of the leprosy. It is lipid soluble. The food does not interfere with its absorption, and it has a very high oral bioavailability, and it has a very high plasma concentration, and the dose needs to be reduced in the renal failure, because it is excreted by the kidneys. So the dose needs to be reduced during the renal failure. If you see the uses of the ufloxacin, it is comparable to the ciprofloxacin, and it is useful against certain systemic and mixed infections, in chronic bronchitis, in respiratory and ENT infections, chlamydia urethritis, cervicitis, and atypical pneumonia caused by the chlamydia. Then as far as drug interactions are concerned, these drug interactions with ciprofloxacin is there because of the enzyme inhibition. These drug interactions, the inhibition of the theophylline metabolism, it is less with the ufloxacin. Coming to the pharmacokinetics of the first generation fluoroquinolones, we can see that the most of the fluoroquinolones, first generation fluoroquinolones, except norfloxacin, the rest of them, that is ciprofloxacin, p-fluoxacin, ufloxacin, they achieve bactericidal levels in the blood, as well as they also have a good tissue penetration. But if you see the norfloxacin, if you see the oral viability of the norfloxacin, it attains very lower concentration and non-therapeutic concentration, and therefore it is not useful in the systemic infections. Then if you see the p-fluoxacin, the p-fluoxacin, it is having the longer T-half of about 8 to 14 hours. And the p-fluoxacin, it is, the dose needs to be reduced in the liver disease. As it is metabolized, you can see it is about 85% metabolized. So the dose needs to be reduced in the liver disease and not in the renal insufficiency. Then if you see the ufloxacin, it is excreted by the kidneys. So dose needs to be reduced in the renal failure because the ufloxacin is excreted by the kidneys. Then if you see this p-floxacin again, if you see the oral viability of the p-floxacin, it is almost 100% viability, and therefore if you see the oral and IV dose of the p-floxacin, it is almost same. See the oral and the IV dose of the p-floxacin is about 400 milligram. So both the dose is same because it has a viability of 100%. And again, ufloxacin also, it has a very high oral viability, about 85 to 95%. So all the first generation fluoroquinolones, as you can see, they are given twice daily orally. You can see BD. So all of them are given twice daily orally. So the common properties of the first generation fluoroquinolones, we can see that they are having subtherapeutic concentration. Only norfloxacin has the subtherapeutic concentration, low concentration. It attains low concentration, and this low concentration is subtherapeutic concentration. It is not useful for the systemic infections, and this is only true for the norfloxacin. There is no activity against Streptococcus pneumoniae. So we know that they are effective more against the gram-negative organism, and against gram-positive there is very less activity, and only they're active against Bacillus anthracis and Staph, but they have no activity against the Streptococcus pneumoniae. Also, we have seen that they have no activity against the anaerobes, and they have no significant CSF concentration. Now, in the pharmacokinetics of the fluoroquinolones, it is seen that the CSF and the aqueous levels of the fluoroquinolones, they are lower. So, fluoroquinolones, we do not achieve high concentration in the CSF and aqueous. So, these both levels are lower. So, there is no significant CSF concentration, except for that matter, p-floxacin. P-floxacin has a good CSF penetration. And besides this, in the pharmacokinetics, it is seen that the concentration in the lung, sputum, muscle, prostate, and phagocytes, that exceeds that in the plasma. Then they also have short action, so they are administered twice daily. We have seen that in the pharmacokinetics that they are given twice daily orally. Then as far as the interaction with warfarin and theophylline is concerned, due to enzyme inhibition, the possibility of the drug interaction with warfarin and theophylline, it occurs more with the ciprofloxacin, and it occurs less with the ufloxacin. So we can summarize that norfloxacin, it is used only orally, and it has a local use in UTI, urinary tract infection, and diarrhea, because it has a subtherapeutic concentration. And ciprofloxacin and norfloxacin is the least potent fluoroquinolone, whereas ciprofloxacin is the widely used fluoroquinolone, and it is the most potent fluoroquinolone, and it is given orally as well as IV. P-floxacin is also given orally and IV, and it has a good CSF penetration, and it is also having a longer T-half, and it is long acting. And ufloxacin is also given orally and IV, and it is used to inhibit the Mycobacterium tuberculosis, Mycobacterium leprae, and it is also useful in gonorrhea, in non-gonococcal urethritis, and also respiratory infections.